Hey beer fans, I'm Steve Jaguar. This is a BeerNative beer review. In this one, there's kind of an interesting story because I almost never bought this beer, and I'll tell you why. In this one, I'm going to be reviewing Brewdog's Double Punk IPA. I even turn it sideways so you can get a good look at it. What's remarkable about this is its unremarkableness. It's double punk. I've had punk IPA like 1,000 times. It's the easiest thing you can get. It's become kind of the IPA standard in British pubs. And when they came out with double punk, I thought, okay, it's a double version of double IPA punk version. I almost didn't want to buy it because it just seems like boozy punk IPA. And then I just kind of, I looked it up. And if you consider that a punk IPA's recipe is actually pretty complicated. Most people don't know what goes into it. It's pretty straightforward. It's got extra pale malt and caramel malt, but the hops, I think it's got 6 hops, and I always forget one. It's got Amarillo, Cascade, Simcoe, Nelson Sauvin, and Chinook. Chinook is the one that always gets me in the nose, and I always give it a hard time. And Atanum, like the first one, Atanum, like you rarely ever see that. So it's actually a very unique recipe, and kind of lets it stand out for, even though people kind of take it for granted now because you can get it everywhere. So I assumed this would be the same, but when I checked, it's very different. It's not extra pale malt, it's just pale malt, that's the only malt. And it's got the 4 kind of standards in terms of hops. It's got Centennial, Simcoe, Mosaic, and Citra. There's no Citra in the original punk. So this is a totally different beer. And I think they're kind of doing themselves a little bit of a disservice by just calling it double punk, because it makes me feel like I've already had it. So there we go. The second bit of the story, I should add, is that the reason I got this beer at all is because of, and there's a story behind, I think it's the guy who does interviews on YouTube. There's a story behind every can or beer or brew. So we're in the lockdown, and it's very difficult. It became very difficult to get groceries, as I'm sure anybody who's in the world right now knows. And so Sainsbury's, which is a major supermarket in the UK, set up a delivery of groceries where somebody would drive down from actually a grocery store that's nowhere near here. It was in Lincoln. I live in Grantham. It's an hour north. And then they just parked the truck in a parking lot, and people could arrive and they would just drop the groceries into the back of their car. You didn't have to get out of the car. You didn't have to contact anyone. Really quite cool service that they threw together really fast. So nice work there. But I got to know the driver. His name's Jacob. And he loves beer. So he saw that I was getting good beer from Sainsbury's, and he started talking to me about it. And then he said, I've got some double punk I got. Do you want one? And so he got some and he brought it to me. And so now I've got like this beer exchange program with the guy who brings groceries for me that happened because of lockdown. Like, what a weird, cool thing. So Jacob, I'm going to send you this. So if you're watching this, dude, thank you. So I'm going to dive straight in. Pop this open. I've got my good glass because I respect the beer, and a good beer needs a good glass. My big comb. Give it a big woof, and it is superb out of the can. Flavors are just dancing out of it. I'm just going to pour a little bit so I can let it go. It's a big can, and it's pretty boozy, so I don't want to screw this review up, because if I do, I can't drink 2 of those and still talk to the camera. So yeah, I often complain about cans masking flavors, but this did kind of leap out, and you get a lot of the fruitiness. You don't get the harshness. You don't get that pininess. There's no pininess at all. It smells extremely fruity and tropical, unlike, I think, punk IPA. I'll take a little sip, actually. I normally do that. Okay, so I'm getting a harder, bitter, wow, but I think it's just because of the alcohol. The alcohol content is obvious out of the box, and that's the kind of thing you like. It seems to amplify the harsher bitters as opposed to the softer ones. Takes away a little bit of the tropical flavors. But when you drink out of a can, you lose a lot of the nose. So we'll try it out of the glass now. All right, let's put that down. Somehow it even tastes boozier out of the glass. It is, I would say that is nice. It's got a really long flavor, and it is kind of it's now the kind of beer that I think I have too big a glass for. For it coming in a big can like that, I would actually drink it a lot slower. I would probably put it into a smaller glass, almost like a Belgian glass, and give it a nice slow sip, which means because it's in such a big can, my can might get warm by the time I got to the bottom of it, which is, I might actually mark it down like that. I think I'd prefer to have a beer with that long of a flavor and that aggressive of a nose to be something that I could savor slowly. So I would actually appreciate it in a smaller can, which is a weird thing to mark down. I've never really done that before. But yeah, it's really good. It has a 60 IBU over the 40 for the standard Punk IPA, for whatever IBU means. And I'm going to be doing a What Makes Beer Great, just talking about IBU, like how it works, what it means, how it gets calculated, depending on the different hops and how long you boil them, all that kind of stuff. So you can check out the one I did on hops and alpha acids to start. And I'll be doing a part 2 tomorrow, actually on Sunday, just about how IBU works and really how seriously you should take it. So check that out when it comes out. All right, so let me score this up. I'm gonna put something on Untappd for it. And I'm gonna go with, I'm gonna mark it down on packaging because of the size. I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5 for packaging. The art's the standard art. I'm gonna give it a 3. So we're starting off with a 5 out of 10, which is not great. I'm gonna throw on nose and flavor. I love it. I love something that makes me want to sit and savor. And the hop combination with the alcohol level being a little higher, which I think helps it linger, and the pale malts is just, it's wonderful actually. It's a slow burn tropical sort of bounty. Yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8. So now we're at 13. In terms of uniqueness, it is pretty unique. So I'm gonna give it a 4 on that for a 17. And in terms of accuracy, it's not a double punk. I'm gonna give it a 3. It's still good. It's still Brewdog. So I'm gonna go, that lands me at a 20, which divided by 6. I'm gonna actually, you know what? I'm gonna keep it at 20. So there we go. So that's gonna be a mid 3s for Untappd, like a 3.5 kind of thing, rounding up. It's probably 3, right? But yeah, but still a great beer. And it's sad, right? I gave it a really good score on flavor, but I marked it down just because of the can format. I didn't think it needed to be, I didn't think the size of the can needed to represent the amazingness of the beer inside. Is kind of let down by the marketing. They could have just pushed that out as something as an amazing tropical double IPA. All right, that is it for that one. Again, Jacob, if you got this far, thank you very much. Keep exchanging beers with me, and I'll keep doing reviews, and hopefully maybe come and subscribe to my channel and tell your friends. All right, I'm Steve. Thanks for watching. Hey, you're still here. Amazing. Subscribe to the channel and you'll be alerted every time I release a new beer review or my different insights into what makes beer great. Thanks for watching.